Good morning and welcome back to the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch in Florida for the 2019 United States Australian Football League National Championships. This is day 2, Decision Sunday, and we're about to see the second of the Women's Division 2 semi-finals after DC Eagles defeated Sacramento by 9 points to 0 to see the DC Eagles go through to the grand final. We now find out who will be meeting them, either the Philadelphia Hawks combination or the Montreal Angels combination. And talking about an angel, yes, I'm brown-nosing here. It's great to have, of course, on colour commentary today. She, of course, is now the Vice President, Western Region of the USAFL. She, of course, plays for the Portland Sockeyes, Lawrence Kuznechny. Snitch, how are you?
I'm great. Had a great day yesterday, a couple good games in, and I'm still walking today, so that's a win.
Yes, as we were joking earlier with Vanilla Ice Ice Baby again, people will be needing that come Sunday evening for the recovery session before hitting the beers afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, our hotel, that ice machine is cranking, so all the ice baths and everything that the players need, we've been in good supply.
And, of course, this is the lovely Lawrence Kuznechny, of course, former New York Magpie, by the way. How have you actually found the adjustment from East Coast to West Coast?
It's actually, last season was a great season for me because I kind of played bi-coastal. I put in time with both teams, so I was able to transition, learn about the West Coast opponents while finishing out with the Magpies and having a great season there. Also being involved in the Freedom Liberty program, you know, you get to know a lot of the players throughout the whole country, so people usually ping me for intel quite often.
Well, playing with New York, you'd actually be familiar with these opponents. Philadelphia from the Eastern AFL, and of course every year there's been that tournament between New York and Montreal. Yeah,
so Montreal always kind of an ever-changing team with who they send to nationals, especially somewhere down here, you know, this far south in Florida. That's a big trip for them. And Philly as well has been growing like crazy. So the core of the team, you know, Lindsay Terse, Erica Sacchi, obviously Amy Arundel has gone to New York since then. They've held that core, but they've put a lot of great players around them. So that's also a team that's evolving. So some great players that I do know well, and a lot of new faces on this field today.
And may I say, of course, for Australians that might be staying up in the small hours of the morning watching this game online, it's something that the Americans do that we actually don't do back home in Australia, which is both sides, bar if it was a national anthem, of course, both sides kind of link up arm in arm and kind of march towards each other for the coin toss, where, of course, back home in Australia, both sides just stay in their forward 50s, just doing their warm-ups and tell the captain, yeah, go do the coin toss. Just tell us if we won or not when you come back.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I have a good friend who is in the Rockettes, and I was asking her for tips on how we can keep our lines nice and straight.
The umpires have just done all their business. Final words being said by the respective captains. Philadelphia been impressive throughout the tournament. Montreal had the one win, and that was by just 2 points against the Texas Heat. Can the Montreal Angels cause an upset, or is Philadelphia destined for a date with DC?
Yeah, you know, I'd put my money on Philly, especially bolstered, obviously, by Danny Marshall from the Arizona Hawks. But again, with these conditions, you know, the field's really dewy. The game's going to be a little scrappier than an afternoon game, so anything can happen. Obviously, Montreal has some good standout players, so we'll see.
Actually, there's two players that stand out for the Hawks, not only because of the pure skill of Danny Marshall, but if you actually watch very closely at ball last, particularly when it's around the boundary line, watch the leadership from the likes of Melissa Wilhelm, formerly Melissa Armstrong. She's just there barking orders, who needs to be where, who needs to be lined up. And she's not waiting for the siren. Laurie Ribb says, we're getting this game underway, like it or not. So she throws the football up in the air. We're underway in the Women's Division 2 second semi-final. Getting the hurried hand pass away, was trying to put it down the throat there of the 33 and Lauren Kelly. She couldn't pick up the football. Trying to jump in there, Caroline Leduc. Leduc goes in to lay the tackle. She put the arms around and the arm underneath anyway to try and get the football out. Couldn't do so. Rose Stokely goes in there. She's immediately dispossessed of the football. In goes Rutkowski. She's saying, I was dispossessed of the football. The umpire said it came out fair okay, and it's play on advantage towards the Montreal Angels. Here's the kick away here by Dufour. Her kick is intercepted by Danny Marshall, who swings around on the left boot, goes with a bit of a spiral punt, going up towards the forward 50. Ball on the carpet, not getting a clean kick there as Nicholas up against the boundary line. On Angels' defence is going to hold up here. That's Gabrielle Brereau, is on hands and knees and did a tunnel ball style through the legs to manage to get it out. The umpire said it wasn't the throw, you can play on. Goes towards the boundary line. I think that was a trip there. Umpire says no, it wasn't. Angel Bishop was kind of doing a weird hopscotch near the boundary line.
Yeah, I think she was trying to hurdle that player there.
Umpire will throw the ball back into play. And it comes out the back now, trying to get onto it there was the 22 in Welch. Angels move the ball up the line, liking how they're moving the ball early. Johnston over the top of it. Bodies go crashing through, trying to jump in there. Lauren Kelly can't get the football out. Going in there to pick it up, though, is Rose Stokely. She swings it around, not quite inside 50, just on the arcs. I think Bureau might have gone there again, going over the top of her, Cassie Cox. We'll call for a ball up. Some early impressions from Schnitz.
Yeah, you can already tell how the field conditions are affecting play. A lot of players going in for the ball, looking up to the next move, and then realizing they haven't actually picked it up. A lot of players with really sure hands kind of being affected by the wet play.
One out there by Rakowski, who's got some real height there on Marshall. That is an interesting setup. Now getting the kick going in the forward line by Lindsay Turst. Got knocked out of the 50. And a hurry kick away there by Amelia DeFore, who goes towards the wing position on the outer side of the ground. There's going to be a mad foot race on there. Trying to get in there is Alla Rakowskis. There's two Rakowskis in the side. I should mention that. Trying to jump in there, Caroline Leduc can't get the football out. Caroline, of course, has played for a couple of seasons with the East Fremantle Sharks in Western Australia. That, of course, originally from Montreal and plays for the Ottawa Swans in the Quebec competition. Pardon me, in the Ontario competition. As they call for a ball up. Far side of the ground. As the umpire, Laurie Roop, just make sure that everyone's in readiness. Going up there is going to be Joanna Rakowski. Brought it down. Marshall overran the football, went back to get it again. Marshall then swung it around on the left, almost brought down Rain with that kick. Coming out there to charge her way through and nearly took a body count was Profs. Now it's 40 metres out from the Philadelphia goal. They can't pick it up. And the Montreal defence is holding up well. We're still 0-0 between Montreal and Philadelphia. Early stages of this first half. Women's Division 2 semi-final. Coming in there to lay a tackle, not quite. The umpire now will say it's gone. The first tackle originally that was there by Terce was broken. The second one by Melissa Wilhelm, not so easy.
Yeah, seen a little fire from Melissa there. She worked hard for that tackle. She wanted to be paid for it. Unfortunately, that wet ball you can see affecting everyone's drops, affecting those kicks as well.
Absolute worm burner there, and just trying to get in there. Couldn't get the football out was Goldmeyer, one of the Chicago players playing for the Montreal combination today. Almost a scoop throw out there, getting her jumper hold, Rose Stokely. Then she goes to ground. She tries to fight and scrap for the football. Tough and tense in there already. Pike had her kick knocked away towards the half-forward flank, now half-back flank because it's taken away by the Angels. Kicked in towards the central corridor, trying to cart her way through Joanna Rakowski. She goes to ground, looking over the top there, Sophie Johnston. And the umpire's going to call for a ball up. So what we've seen so far in early stages of both women's D2 semi-finals, the favourites are having the challenge thrown down to them.
Yeah, exactly. I think once you throw some unknown factors in there, it can throw a normally confident and clean team like Philly or DC off their game a little bit.
Lauren Kelly tries to get in there. She couldn't get the football out. Now the chance for the Angels to break towards the wing on the broadcast side. Having a reach over the shoulder there, Alla Rakowski almost could have begged for too high. The umpire said no deal. Going in there is Melissa Wilhelm, who drags the player to the ground. Alla Rakowski goes in there one more, trying to get a hand pass out, but it's Danielle Marshall who picks it up, goes on the left boot. Too much juice on the kick though. It is out of bounds on the full, and a free kick going the way of Alla Rakowski here. Pardon me, Joanna Rakowski. It's the other of the Rakowski sisters. They're both tall and they can both fix the light bulb for me at home that I'm yet to fix. As they go along up the line. Too much juice in the kick. Danielle Marshall got to get around them. There she does on the right boot. Flat mongrel punt going long low up the line towards the half forward flank, and the ball will now go over and out. And we'll call for a throw-in. Some impressions from Schnitz.
Yeah, you know, I see the success is coming from the teams that are keeping their composure around those contests and giving kind of a back door. So when the fight does kind of fall apart a little bit, they have some options to move the ball. A lot of missed marks, a lot of unclean pickups, but again, as to be expected on the ground today.
As we see everyone jumping on the football. Kick around the corner. I think it was by Bureau to try and move it forward. Mark taken for the Angels here at the half-back flank. They'll elect to, well, they were going to think about going long. Now they're going to stay wide. And instead, they almost just brought down Rain with that kick. Joanna Rakowski had front position, scored from behind by Danielle Marshall. Then the hurry kick away coming there by Rebecca Quinn. Towards almost between centre half back and the two centre circles. Now a chance to break through here for Lauren Kelly of the Philadelphia Hawks. Kicks it inside 50, an awkward ball overrunning it there, Abigail Miklas. Had to get the football working backwards towards Angel Bishop. She overran the field. The umpire says trip, and she says no advantage, bringing it back for the Montreal Angels. And it's the one thing for the Philly Hawks, they really haven't been able to get it to that dangerous inside 30 part.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the midfielders are working hard to try and get their hands on the ball, but kind of just slapping it on the boot, kind of without any leads to go to. So I'd like to see some more leads from Philly, some more clean marks, so that those mids can be rewarded for their efforts. They
appeal for holding the football. The umpire says no dice, and coming away with it here for the Montreal Angels is Amelia DeFore. She goes up the line. Too many numbers back here for the Philadelphia Hawks. It is cut off though. I think it was Cox that tried to get a hurry kick away. Now Leduc through the middle of the ground towards centre half forward. And the tackle is broken here. Opportunity for the Montreal Angels. It's kicked forward by Rebecca Quinn. It goes inside 50. There's nothing really on here, so it'll be cleaned up by the Hawks. They'll kick it towards the wing position. Here's a foot race. It's going to be 2-on-2. Try to get there first and harassed off the football as Geldmeyer did well. Managed to break it open there for the 45, which we don't have in our sheet. Got towards the half-forward flank position. Overrunning the football on that occasion.
I believe that 45 is Yui from Chicago.
Yui Kawakatsu, of course,
Yes.
the former Los Angeles Dragon. We should know her. She's a superstar. Caroline Leduc now kicks it in towards the half-forward. To the forward pocket. Leduc tries to chase it up and does a bit of shepherding work to knock someone out of the way. Danielle Marshall comes through, misses at the first kick, then goes for the second kick off the carpet. Now dribbles forward in towards the centre squares. Now kicked back out again off the line by Amelia Dufour, who picks it up and swings around on the left. It's a long, lovely kick towards the goal square. It's come off hands. It's an opportunity for the first score. No, it's kicked away, and the ball will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. Snitch, this is a tricky thing, and we spoke about in the previous semi-final. In what looks like it's going to be a low-scoring contest, you can't afford to concede the point as opposed to where you normally would in a high-scoring game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, normally if you have a little bit of a buffer, you might want to rush that one through for a behind. But yeah, no risk, no room for even a point.
As the ball's thrown back into play, immediate traffic jam, and the umpire will ask for the football back and will call for a ball up. We should mention that the Philadelphia Lady Hawks do have players assisting them from the Arizona Hawks, so it's a double Hawk combination, along with players from the Boston Demons as well, and I think one or two Baltimore Dockers, and we count Samantha Worrell in there. And for Montreal, this is an all-Montreal side made out of the AFL Quebec competition, plus as well some players from the Chicago Swans.
Yeah, up-and-coming team there in Chicago. Obviously, Yui, who's put in a lot of work with the LA Dragons, is a great player to have there, great leadership, and I think that you'll see that club start to grow quite rapidly over the next few years.
Rose Stokely is brought to ground, and the umpire says this is a free kick going the way here of the Angels. They go up the line, past the hands there of Leduc. Going in there is Joanna Rakowski, who goes with the hand pass backwards. One step and a big boot going forward by Andreasen, who now moves it towards the centre half forward position. Overrunning the football there, Rebecca Quinn manages to fire out the hand pass. Managing to get it over the top one more time. Geldmeyer did okay. Managing to use the agency of Quinn again. They've moved it inside 50. The umpire says that's too high. Free kick. And going the way of Yui Kawakatsu. So Yui Kawakatsu with the football. She is about 48 metres out from goal when she puts boot to ball. Likes to go to the hot spot. 25 metres out directly in front. Ball bouncing around. No one really committing to attacking it. Hurry kick out of the pack. Taken away though by the Philly Hawks. And they'll go towards the back pocket broadcast side. Caroline Leduc goes in there. Leduc picks it up. Leduc swings around. Thought about the snap. It's going to fall short. Almost a mark. Just popped out of the hands. Immediately getting caught there was the number 14 there for the Montreal Angels. Trying to swing by there, Yui Kawakatsu. Got the hand pass out. Yui knew he got the 1-2 back. Yui has to try and go again for a third crack at the football. Hand pass back to Andreasen, who now comes through. Andreasen now had the football, lost it for the second time. Going in there is Pike, who got the kick away for the Philadelphia Hawks. Works towards the outer side of the ground, looking for Cassie Cox. Cox got to try and shrug the tackle, and she does so. Wants to put it to the agency there of Alexandra Pike. They're still just edging the ball up towards the centre wing, far side of the ground. Having a crack at it, Husing couldn't get clean possession of the football. Ball goes backwards to go forwards, this time using the agency of Erica Saki, one of the veterans for the Philadelphia Hawks, towards the half-forward line now. Getting in there, Ella Rakowski, she's got it. Goes for the hand pass backwards, using Bureau to go up the line. And this could be a stalemate coming up here. No, the ball is squeezed out. Marshall got around one. Got on the left boot. Dribbles it in towards the centre square. Now running with the football. Picking it up here. Number 19 in Miklas. Miklas's kick is only as far as Gabrielle Bureau. Some thoughts from Snitz.
Yeah, I think you're really starting to see the difference in Montreal here is how they use that soccer move off the ground. So a lot of American players tend to just use that out of panic. Montreal, they've actually kicked it up to a couple good pickups, and I think that's where you see that experience of the players who had some time in Australia. That's going to really benefit them when picking the ball. It's a little bit of a challenge.
Danielle Marshall tried to go in there for the tackle. Also coming over the top, Erica Saki. And there's a hurried hand pass out to Marshall. Marshall on the right boot, looking for the first score for the Philly Hawks. It's away to the left.
So great positioning there again, Danny. Great anticipation and a nice clean hand pass to get that shot off.
So it's Philadelphia 1, Montreal 0. Philadelphia 1, Montreal 0 here in the women's D2 semi-final. So I want to come back into play. Julie Roy Prevost. And she brings it back in very close towards the back pocket, setting a task here for Senecal. He has to shrug the tackle. Senecal down the right boot, going up the line, looking for Kawakatsu. Too much juice in the kick, went over her head. Danielle Marshall now picks it up on the right boot. She pumps it long. Having it momentarily was Julia Roy Prevost, and it bounces off her chest and goes out of bounds.
Good instinct from Danny there to get the kicks off quick. However, she's kind of just sending it in the direction of the goal without a specific target. So she can kind of use some of her forwards when she doesn't have the distance for the kick. I think they'll be a little more successful. As
the ball is very close to being conceded through for a point after trying to get a snap off the ground there originally was Rose Stokely. Oh, the Angels are caught with the ball here in the back pocket, making an absolute mess of it. Now the Hawks will swing it back around. Mark not taken. Trying to jump in there and get it out. The number 13 in Pike. Marshall goes in to load a tackle and escorts the player over the boundary line and out of bounds. As we said, I think it was last year, no, well, the year before in San Diego when Moreau was playing and ripping it up for Montreal, we said she was doing great things, getting great skills, getting kicks inside 50, but they end up just having to be bombs inside 50. They couldn't do what you do, as we'll come back to that conversation in a moment. A goal here for Philly. Guess who? Guess who? Danielle Marshall. 1-1-7 Philadelphia, and Montreal no score. That's 7-0. 7-0. Philadelphia leading Montreal. Just quickly, as I mentioned to Brian yesterday, I said I wouldn't be surprised if at next year's Nationals it's Danny Marshall signing more autographs than Erin Phillips.
Yeah, exactly. It's really great to have an American in the comp now. Obviously someone who's worked hard for it, who's a natural athlete, and also, again, one of the sweetest people you'll ever met. Definitely super deserving, and it really sets the path for a lot of the up-and-coming American players.
We're talking before about more road bombing and inside 50, and I was about to mention the same with Danielle Marshall having to bomb it inside 50. The thinking in the USA when you play on these nationals, when you've played at a high level, you have to do it differently as opposed to at a VFL or WAFL standard level where you know where the leads are going to come to, you know where to kick to because the player will go to that spot and mark the ball. You know here because the skills are not up to it, you just got to get it in long and then hope for the best and try and chase it up. As the kick now by the Montreal Angels towards the top of the goal square. Are they going to answer here? Guess who got back there? Danielle Marshall tries to kick it off the carpet and this time manages to gain about 20 metres. Yui Kawakatsu comes in there. Marshall goes in there, gets the hand pass out as she gets spun around. Then the kick forward by Bishop along the wing broadcast side. Now trying to pick it up there. Player from the Hawks wasn't successful enough. Number 19 in Nicholas coming inboard. Pike now towards 45 metres out from goal. Originally chasing after it, Casey Cox overran the football. Trying to fight in hard with her, Gabrielle Bureau. And the ball does get squeezed out. It is a hurry kick forward towards the pocket. Nicholas goes chasing after it. And Bureau hands and knees. Umpire spotted something here off the pack and said it's a free kick going the way of Alex Pike, number 19, which would be Abigail Miklas from the Arizona Hawks, playing today for the Philadelphia Hawks. She comes in. Awkward shot at goal. The goalpost wobbles, but the umpire says it's only because the player hit it, but it was away to the near side out of the way for a minor score. That's Philadelphia 8, Montreal 0.
Yeah, to get back to what you were saying before, kind of about just sending the ball in, I think that's also one of the downsides of playing for a combo team, and you don't quite know the tools that you have. A lot of these players have played with each other, in mixed matches, and some of them in the national program, but when you don't really know what a player's capable of, how far their kick is, how strong their mark is, it can be a little hard to make those decisions.
As Leduc weaves through traffic, yeah, we're talking about that yesterday with DC, that most of the DC players know each other, and we're saying how Kendall Jennings was their key target up forward and how they're able to find her and spot her and put it to the right spot that she would run to. Again, that's just familiarity of a big core group of players. Here's the long kick at goal, just away to the left, and another minor score. That means it is Philadelphia 9, Montreal 0. Philadelphia 9, Montreal 0.
Yeah, it's been great to see here in D2 a couple close to full teams. They're kind of teed up to move up into D1 next year. Obviously, the requirement to be in D1 is to be able to field a unmixed club. So I think we'll see a lot of changes as these teams start to grow. Obviously, DC's close, SAC is close to coming back. Philly maybe a few years out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of these players in D1 in the next few years.
Absolutely, as the umpire's just circling around. Ball gets squeezed out. Danielle Marshall goes in for a crack at it. And you can see a pack of players on the far side of the ground. I think that was Tech who tries to get it going for Montreal. She wants to have a second crack at the football, Tech. Does so. Saki tried to get a hand pass back into heavy traffic. Being immediately caught there was the number 6 in Ree. And the umpire says that will be a free kick on the way of Caroline Leduc, which they nickname the Duke at East Fremantle. As she kicks up the line in front of the scoreboard. Just bounced off the chest. Hand pass going backwards again using Natasha Tech, who goes long up the line towards the centre wing outer side of the ground. Be sent back from whence it came on this occasion by Miklas. Intercepted here for the Angels. Right boot long. Marshall. Good grab.
Great hands.
Just goes back and says, I'm just going to calm things down here for a moment. And why not when you're up by 9 points? Goes up the line, Marshall. Doesn't quite hit her target. Bounce off the chest. Trying to get in there, Barbara Dempsey for the Hawks. Hurry kick. Trying to comes back in board. Off the side of the boot. Marshall went through and there was a body count. Took someone out on the way through. Hand pass. Now trying to find Alexandra Pike. She missed the footy. Now Rakowski. I think it was Ella on that occasion. Hurry kick by the Angels. Straight down the throat to Marshall again. And Marshall goes for a run on the right boot. Piercing kick. That goes long inside 50. Brilliant bounce. Having to duck then. And a shot on goal. Away to the right by Karen Stablin from the Baltimore Dockers. And that will register as a minor score.
Yeah, Karen Stablin, one of the more elusive players on the field. Definitely given some players some headaches over the years. Been around for a while, but it doesn't seem like she's lost a step.
1-4-10 to no score. That's Philadelphia 10, Montreal no score. Philadelphia 10, Montreal no score. Now what's happened here is the player on the mark for the kick-in has gone too early. Well, the umpire said play on. Now what would happen is it's not actually a 50-metre penalty. What happens is when that occurs, the umpire has to mark the player on the line and no one's standing on the mark to the back of the centre square. And if there's another infringement, then you take them to the front half of the centre square. So with that advantage, they only put it down the throat of Danielle Marshall on her defensive side of the centre circle. She runs and that's a roasting kick. Ridiculously long. Goes inside 50. The umpire says there's a push out in the contest and it will be a free kick going the way of the Montreal Angels and ending up in the hands of Isabel Senecal.
Yeah, it was kind of a missed opportunity for Montreal there with no player on the mark after they were given that penalty. You know, you take a few more steps, you're basically in your forward 50.
Ball now at the halfback flank here for the Angels. They're really messing around with it, having to dance. It looked like it was Andreasen who tried to move the ball forward, trying to find Isabel Senecal. Hand pass over the top. Got a player on there if they can get it to Dufour. They can't. Going in there to lay the bump though, the number 3 in Casey Troy of the Arizona Hawks playing for the Philly Hawks today. Then Erica Saki comes by to cuts it off for the Philly Hawks. Her kick is going to go out of bounds on the fall. And that's the hooter to signal half-time here in the Women's Division 2 second semi-final. It is Philadelphia 10, Montreal 0. I guess as we look out of this, that Philly do have a lead. They were kicking with an agency of, I'd say, a 1.5 goal breeze to the left-hand side. I just don't think Montreal's out of this yet.
No, not at all. You know, we've seen them move their ball into their forward 50 a couple times and some good clean possessions as well. And now you can definitely feel that sun getting hotter. The field's going to be drying real quick. It's going to be a different ball game in the second half.
I guess it comes down to the first few minutes. If Montreal can at least control the game, play it in their forward half, and if they do get a goal, that could set panic amongst the Hawks.
Yeah, definitely. I think if everyone can kind of clean up their skills a little bit when the ball's a little bit drier, Montreal has a good chance to at least get one on the board, and I think that that's going to shake the Hawks a little bit.
Who's been one or two of the players that have been impressing you through that first half?
Yeah, obviously Danny Marshall is everywhere on the field, unsurprisingly. Again, kind of just slapping it on her boot. I don't know if that's just an unfamiliarity with her teammates or if that's just a panicked instinct just to kind of get rid of it or take a shot for goal. But I think if she can be a little bit more deliberate with her kicks, that's going to make a big difference. Obviously, Erica Saki, always a standout for Philadelphia. Lindsay Turse is really putting in the work in the midst. She was following around the Duke for quite a while. And then it's great to see Yui in there, putting in some of the work in the mids, getting it on her boot, and obviously the ruck work from Montreal is always stand out.
Before we throw to our halftime break, just quickly, just your thoughts. I know you'll be commentating the next game coming up, which will be between New York and Seattle, the first of the Women's Division 1 semi-finals. What do you think about the Division 1 semi-final mix this year and the interesting combinations? New York, Seattle, and San Fran versus Minnesota.
I love it. New York and Seattle, I probably know those two teams better than anyone else. So I can definitely say firsthand it's going to be quite a matchup. Great players on both sides and great team strategy on both sides as well. I think New York might have the edge with their depth, but again, we saw Seattle pull it out last year in the semis, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do give them quite a headache. Minnesota, San Fran, Minnesota's coming in with a chip on their shoulder, not only from last year, but from the game to New York yesterday where they just went down by 1 point. So I think they're coming out with something to prove. I think we could see 2 new teams in the grand final this year, and that would be really, really exciting.
Yeah, the message that I've been hearing back, of course, New York just beat Minnesota by 1 point, which was a hell of a game. New York faced themselves against Seattle. I just believe Seattle have got the class to finish off New York. But on the other side of the picture, yeah, San Francisco should be favourites. But the word that I heard back from their game against Seattle was San Fran were too cocky.
Mm-hmm.
After their big win against Denver, they were just too cocky. But that's the thing. As much as they're too cocky, that game against Seattle might have been that wake-up call that they needed of, okay, let's get to business. Let's do the job. Let's pull the finger out. So as much as I'd like to see an upset, I just got a feeling we could be in for a big win for San Fran because Seattle might have given them an unwelcome wake-up call.
Yeah, exactly. I think Seattle probably teed up Minnesota for quite an uphill battle with that one. They certainly have earned the right to talk, so they can walk the walk and talk the talk.
They're coming up on these streams at 10 and 11 a.m. respectively. We'll take a break here. It's halftime. It's Philadelphia 10 leading Montreal 0. And welcome back to the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch, Florida, between Sarasota and Bradenton for the 2019 United States Australian Football League National Championships. We're about to get underway here in the second half of the Women's Division 2 second semi-final between Philadelphia and Montreal. Philadelphia wearing the predominantly white jumpers. They lead 10-0 over Montreal. The winner will meet the DC Eagles at 1 o'clock in the grand final. That game will not be live streamed. You'll be able to watch a replay of that hopefully a few days time from now, but you'll be able to follow the results of that on social media. Umpire not waiting for the siren, ends up blowing the whistle and just says we're going to get on with it. And Laurie Roop has spotted something behind the play, maybe a player breaking into the square too early, so centre square infringement. Peter Holden and Lawrence Kosnechny with you. It's Pete and the Snets as they go out towards the wing position, and with a lot of space to work with here, the player picking it up is the number 51, and Bayer, who moves it up the line. Probably should have ran with the ball, but maybe just felt the footsteps of Erica Saki coming. That's all the turnover, and Saki comes in to pick it up there. Going in there is Jenna Blair, should I say, not Bayer, Blair. Now gets it across, though, to Quinn, who tried to get a hurried snap towards the half-forward flank position. Came off hands, heavy traffic here at the moment. Leduc tried to get in there, couldn't get the football out. Now hurried kick by Andreasen. Now moves the ball inside 50. Opportunity building here for Johnson of the Angels. She's immediately wrapped up, though, by three Hawks. Close towards the boundary line. Will it go over? Awkward hand pass by Bishop. Then there's a hurried snap from the pocket on the left boot. Danielle Marshall playing the goalkeeper role on the last line, but her kick almost ended up in the umpire's tent.
Yeah, both teams are getting a lot of players around the contest, but there's a lot of standing flat-footed and some of those sloppy handballs. So I think once they shake out some of the nerves after halftime.
Cheeky Caroline Leduc was trying to run across saying, yeah, I'll kick it. No, you're not the closest near it. That means it has to be given to Amelia Dufour. And the umpire says, no, Natasha Tetch was the one that was closest to it. Everyone wanted to line up for a kick. No one really making a lead to space here for Montreal, and that sees the ball go out of bounds on the full. That's a poor thing. Everyone's standing around when... And this goes back to the... where, of course, you play more 9-a-side, 12-a-side, and you don't get to play 16 or 18-a-side often on an oval-shaped field, where you can't stand around the kicker in the forward 50. You have to go to the goal line, open up space, and then burst into the space. Yeah,
exactly. You know, we talk a lot about you see a good opportunity of a place that you want to be, find it, but then go back a whole bunch so you can lead into it and really take advantage of getting that ball on the move.
As I always say, never kick to a standing still target, because once you're standing there, the seconds that the ball takes to get to you is the seconds the opponent can get to you and create the damage.
Yeah, exactly. And again, another advantage for teams that know each other. You know, you're able to time those leads a little bit more. You can tell when the kicker's ready. You can tell about how far they're going to kick it and where to end your lead. So definitely a learning process for teams that are combining and playing with new players for the first time.
Trying to get in there with the football was the number 3 in Casey Troy, and she is pinned, and the umpire says, Yui Kawakatsu, you can have a free kick. So Kawakatsu gets on the right boot, goes inside 50, ricocheted off hands. Marshall had it. Oh, rejected. Coming through. Roxanne Benson says, you were denied.
That's got to hurt.
Yes, indeed. Just made an AFLW rookie contracted player look ordinary. That's one in the scrapbook. Now Yui Kawakatsu has it. Kicks around the corner. Puts it to about 25 metres out from goal. Caroline Leduc tried to jump in there. Melissa Wilhelm went without the football. Erica Saki jumps in there to try and bring down a player. And the umpire will call for a ball up. But remember what we talked about at halftime about Montreal having the ball in their forward half? They're ticking the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if they can sneak one through, that's going to be a huge change in the momentum of this game.
10-0 has taken it out of the ruck is Danielle Marshall, who's forced to kick around the corner. Went through the hands there of the 13 in Alexandra Pike. Overrunning the football there and going after it is Isabel Senecal. Joanna Rakowski got it out very awkwardly. Back to Isabel Senecal, who does well. Found a player standing all alone in the forward pocket, and Dufour, who ran on and got caught. She is Gone gone. She tried to take on Lindsay Terse and says, you're not getting away from me.
Yeah, you don't really want to do that around Lindsay Terse. She can hit, and she is a smart player.
So Terse now with a free kick for the Hawks goes up the line. A fist is put in there by one of the Chicago Swans players for the Montreal side. That is Blair. Gina Blair goes in there, gets on the right boot, goes up the line. An awkward bouncing football. We're still at the half-forward flank. Trying to pick it up and dispossess Goldmeyer. Goldmeyer has to try and go again. Almost got one in the back. Goldmeyer over the top of the ball. And the umpire is going to ask for it back. Interesting to see that Philly have not had the ball inside their forward half this half so far.
Yeah, they've definitely been caught on the back foot a little bit here. You can tell there's a little bit of nerves and panic trying to get it out of their defensive end.
Natasha Tetch tries to make a go of a contest, and the ball goes out of bounds for a throw. The original boundary umpire stretched his arms out, which would normally indicate on the full. But now he's saying, no, it's a boundary throw-in. Thrown back into play. Marshall does the ruck work. Hand pass away. Too much hot potato there for Pike, who couldn't get onto it. Pushing and a shoving on Yui Kawakatsu, and the umpire says that's too high, and that will be a free kick. Yui has the football, formerly of the Los Angeles Dragons. Gets on the right boot, goes towards the centre half forward position. Went through hands. Erica Saki's going to get there first. Had a jumper pulled, then there was one over the shoulder. Oh no, holding the ball. I thought there was a slight tap on the right shoulder.
Yeah, I would have seen that one high, and Erica slow to get up.
Well, it's a free kick, and I think going to touch there for, was it the 33? Yeah, Roxanne Besner for the Montreal Angels. Kicks to the hot spot, looking for Leduc, who was just squeezed out of the contest at the last second. And passed by Dempsey towards the back pocket. Now Terse runs away with it on the left boot, goes to open space here. Only to be sent back from whence it came by Besner. Goes inside 50, Leduc. Classy. And
Erica Saki just took herself out, so that's going to be a big hit for Philly.
Caroline Leduc thinks about lining up from about 55 metres out. Although, to be fair, that 50-metre mark really looks like a 40. I haven't walked it, though, so I can't claim if it is or not. And then she put it down the throat of Danielle Marshall.
Yeah, measurements are a little bit different here in the States. We're not used to meters. So.
Now we wait for Danielle Marshall to kick it long out of defence. As you can see right in front of us in the camera, the wings are actually quite small here. As now going in over the top of it to pick it up is Rose Stokely, who gets run down, and umpire Laurie Roop says that is a free kick.
Yeah, I think the Philly player there thought that Philly was going to get away with the call, tried to play on advantage, but you didn't see a lot of that here, and it was the wrong direction anyway.
As we wait for the Angels to bring the ball down the line, I think it's Andreasen who's trying to go in the Joanna Rakowski direction, knocked away from her hands. Yui Kawakatsu is waiting for the ball to come out the side. Goldmeyer was there, now coming through to try and pick it up as Dufour. Dufour lost control of the football. Marshall was on her hammer. Leduc goes in, gets the hand pass out. Doing well, almost got through the traffic. Dufour got the hand pass inside 50 though. Ball is on the deck, no clean pill. Trying to go in and pick it up there is Barbara Dempsey, the veteran. Dempsey is caught in a sandwich, but too high. Free kick. And she'll slowly pick herself up after that car wreck and just go, okay,
yeah.
where are we going?
It never feels good to be taken high, but definitely she got away with one there because a little bit lower she probably would have been pinged for holding the ball.
And the kick going up the line sees the mark taken by Lauren Kelly. Right in front of all the marquees on the outer side of the ground. 10-0, by the way. Philadelphia lead Montreal 10-0 as we're close towards the boundary line, and it goes over and out now. So we'll call once again for a ball in. We're on the wing position on the far side of the ground. It's going to be Joanna Rakowski up against Danielle Marshall. Ball is back into play. Past Marshall. You're looking nearby. Oh, Yui Kawakatsu taking the ground without the ball. Free kick. Yui Kawakatsu now with it. Gets on the right boot, goes up the line. Was looking for Rakowski. She goes, that's the tall player, but the kick was low and allowed Dempsey to take the intercept mark. She dangerously comes inboard because she was trying to find Lindsay Terse. Terse has got 2-3 to beat here, but she's still harassing. Hurry kick away. Player gets dumped there. Moving across to Ella Rakowski. She couldn't hang on to the football. A little bit of pushing and shoving here. That'll be in the back. And a free kick going away of the Philly Hawks. So they'll have the pill and they'll go towards, why not, Danielle Marshall. Marshall, the halfback flank, says, come towards me because I'm going to go long. Didn't quite execute the kick well as she would have liked to. Up the wing position. Oh, being caught there was Gabrielle Brereau and was immediately dispossessed of the football. Andreasen comes through. Goes towards centre half forward. Rakowski is there. Got it. Ella Rakowski just swung it on the boot. There was really nothing to go to inside 50 for her. But trying to get on there is Besner. Oh, it went through her legs. Got nutmegged. Besner has to go chasing after the football again. Getting towards it is Lauren Kelly, who tried to fire out the hand pass. Umpires blowing the whistle. Holding infringement going the way of Montreal.
Yeah, Philly, not having a lot of shots in their forward 50, they really have to take advantage of every opportunity to move the ball. A little bit of a lost opportunity there, kind of just sending it into traffic.
No play on the mark, so they'll play on quickly. It's a very awkward kick hitting in the Joanna Rakowski direction. Close towards the boundary line. Little bump laid on as Husing was chasing after the football. And we'll throw it in. Schnitz, in my gut feeling, this is Montreal's chance right here, right now.
They're certainly riding some momentum. You can tell, again, Philly's a little bit nervous. Hawks are a little bit scared. And they're not really taking advantage of the chances when they move the ball out. I think if Montreal can just keep hammering it in there, then one of them has got to sneak through eventually. Couple good kicks, and they could be in the lead.
So about a couple of good kicks, Danielle Marshall says, how about this long punt up the ground? And let me just change the picture of the scenario to Cassie Cox, who then got it towards their half-forward line. Two big kicks just changed the whole picture and the whole scenario right there. And we'll call for a ball up because, again, at the moment, time is on Philly's side with the ball up at their half-forward flank. All I have to do is just keep sitting it on at this end of the ground.
Yeah, exactly. If they can lock it in down here, then that's going to be a huge boost for them. But, Montreal, like I said, having a little bit of momentum, so I wouldn't be surprised if they can squeak it back out.
10 to zip at the moment. It is 10-0. Philadelphia leading Montreal. The umpire will ask for the football back and will call for a ball up on the half-forward flank on the outer side of the ground. Joanna Rakowski going up there on the ruck for the Montreal Angels. Squeezed out. Going in to try and pick it up there is Bishop. She was on hands and knees. The Angels now with an opportunity on the far side of the ground. Long up the line. That's a good grab.
Mark.
That is a solid grab. And going on to play with it quickly there, I think, was Johnston. Sophie Johnston for Montreal, originally out of Chicago. Dropping the football and having to go back and get it again is Lindsay Terse. Got it across to Marshall, whose kick was smothered. And over the boundary line and out of bounds. And we'll call for another throw in. Okay, let's put the coach's hats on Snitch for the moment. You're in charge of the Montreal Angels. What are you trying to tweak and do at this stage to get that goal?
Yeah, I think it's just keep shooting. Every advantage you can get to get the ball in front of that goal. You're hopeful that something can bounce in, take advantage of a little bit of sloppy skill work from the Hawks, and just try and sneak one through.
Cheeto now tries to move the football up the line here for the Philadelphia Hawks. Does well, forcing Senecal to go back and get it from Montreal. Isabel Senecal now going up the line, running on the ball, showing a burst of speed. Rebecca Quinn. Quinn now on the right boot, swings it around towards the half-forward flank position. Now, did it go on the full or did it bounce over? Let's just watch here. It is on the full, so it's a free kick. I think Melissa Wilhelm, in the distance, has got the kick there for the Hawks. She, of course, is an Arizona Hawk playing for the Philly Hawks today. Kicks up the line. Cut off there. Quinn now goes back and gets the football. Oh, got to dance around. Got pulled away, and the umpire says dropping the football. Didn't get her hand pass away in time. In fact, it was Jenna Blair. And now the Hawks move the ball in towards the middle of the ground. Overrunning the pill on that occasion was Amelia Dufour.
I think if you're the Hawks here now, you're, like you said, slow it down, use time to your advantage, get some composure, get some clean passes, some clean marks, and really just kind of milk the clock as much as you can. They're going to benefit from a slower pace game. Montreal is just going to keep going that fast and furious route.
Rose Stokely there wasn't quite as clean, and she was caught by Larissa Andreasen, who now has the free kick for the Montreal Angels. She's got Gabrielle Brereau, who's pushed up the ground and all by herself takes it. Thought about going on and then saw she had two players coming at her. No one leading towards the wing. They're all going to the central corridor where it is crowded, and that's allowing Danielle Marshall just to sit out the back of the pack and go, you know what I'm going to do? Just send it up the line. And that's what she does. She kicks it towards the half-forward flank position. Foot race is on here. Good little bump being laid on there by Dufour, who goes in and has support from Bureau with a tackle. The umpire will ask for the football back. It's that thing we talked about before, being flat-footed. It was just man-on-man coverage all up the line. No one running to space on the wing to say, let me try and find room.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of kind of half-speed leads, and you really need to be able to lead out with some explosiveness out to the wing, get some space on your player so that you have a chance at the ball.
Kick up the line there by Isabel Senecal, coming out to take the mark. Good lead by Rebecca Quinn. Now, can she find something in 50? Ella Rakowski is lurking around the centre half-forward position. She goes for the tall target. That's what you've got to do. It bounces, it bounces, it bounces. As a teammate going on inside 50, they're trying to bump her way through is Perot. The ball is knocked away from her. Going in there is Bureau, who's chased her way up the ground. Marshall tried to knock it forward. Joanna Rakowski has got it, and she does the best thing, which is just lock it in there.
Yeah, not an easy task to pin the ball in on that tackle. Danny Marshall did great to have some ball awareness there.
Umpire just checks the way out the back. Laurie Root says, I'll back out through here as I ball it up. Rakowski and Marshall both miss it. Marshall better on the ground here. Picks it up and runs away from the pack. Whoops. Spun around, then kicked it back in towards the middle of the ground. Andreasen running after it. Rose Stokely with her. Stokely's hatching it. That's a throw. No, missed. And there's another throw. Both sides with a throw, and it's missed. Yui Kawakatsu kicks inside 50. Oh, good mark, Rebecca Quinn.
Yeah, great play there. Great heads up from Yui and great mark.
So they need a forward target, Montreal. Who can they get as Rebecca Quinn from the paint? Gives it a roost towards the top of the goal square. It came off hands, and it will go out. No, it will stay in unless the umpire says that's a push. It was given away. So here's going to be a shot on goal opportunity for Montreal. Now, typically with a real 50-metre arc, you'd be saying, oh, that's being kicked from about 35 metres out. But here I'm saying it's probably more 25. Her kick tries to square it up instead of going for goals. I'm not sure. I probably would have gone for goal myself. Comes off hands. And look at that traffic jam. There's a dozen players around the ball. That is a rugby mall.
Yeah, that's definitely really crowded down there. I don't know if that's working to the advantage of the Hawks or Montreal, but certainly the ball's getting pinned up in there a lot.
Cassidy loses out to Marshall on that contest. Going in there is Kat Ree. Umpire says a free kick to Montreal. Wowee!
This could be a chance for them to really shift the power of this game.
And Rebecca Quinn was going to take it and then said no, it's your other Chicago teammate that needs to take it, and that is the 34, Melissa Geldmeyer. So Melissa Geldmeyer, if she kicks this, it's less than a kick in it. Geldmeyer, oh, she's away, well away to the left. That hurts.
Yeah, I think Danny Marshall threw her off a little bit there. She did a really great job of kind of backing up off the mark and then getting closer. And when you don't back up enough, a tall player like that, they can really throw off your aim.
That's Philadelphia 10, Montreal 1. Philadelphia 10, Montreal 1. As we wait for the ball to come back into play, and they're going to run it back in with no one really watching the mark. Wilhelm goes long towards Marshall. Two classy players linking up there. And Marshall with the football at the half-back flank. Kicks it up the line. Only for it to be marked here by the 31 in Isabel Senecal. Senecal goes up the line for Marshall to take it and will run away from her Montreal opponent. Oh, kicked it straight into the breadbasket of Senecal. She hit the ground like a sack of spuds. But had backup support there for the Hawks. They get up towards the centre wing position. Here's a ham sandwich. Stokey just got caught right in the middle of it. And that means, Stokely, as the Angels move towards the half-forward flank position. Now going over there is Pike. Yui Kawakatsu for Montreal, straight down the guts. Kicks it inside 50. Ella Rakowski going there with Melissa Wilhelm. Wilhelm giving the ball in front of herself. Rakowski trying to wear her like a glove. But Wilhelm will take a bounce, be very cocky and run away from her. Her kick, though, does let her down. Finds Isabel Senecal. Senecal now kicks inside 50. Mark taken here for Montreal.
Yeah, great evasive maneuvering by Wilhelm there, but unfortunately not the best decision of where to dispose of the ball.
First clean bounce I've seen this weekend as she kicks long towards the top of the goal square. Crash of bodies here. They look to go for the soccer off the ground job. Another snap, but they're playing, but all sides have been really playing the goalkeeper role well today with a player in the last line of defence. That was kept out. Good luck trying to pick a player out of that as Parole tries to go in there. Then trying to get a hurry kick out of the pack was Geldmeyer, but she just had a sea of players in front of her. They almost need to do a backwards to go forwards routine here to try and open up some space in front of goal. Leduc, here's a chance. Leduc, she goes with a kick around the corner, just went up in the air, it was a pipe floater. Ball went to ground, and everyone's jumping on it. The umpire saying play on, that hooter isn't for this field. At the top of the goal square, Saki almost fell on her own player. Everyone's going down like 9 pins. Umpire says too high, but it's Philadelphia's way.
Whew, yeah, Philadelphia's got to be feeling the heat on this one. You know, luckily they also have a couple points on the board, so even a goal here from Montreal. They are still going to be in front, but they got to be panicked a little bit.
Time fast running out for the Montreal Angels. The Philadelphia Hawks looking at a date with the DC Eagles at 1 p.m. in the Women's Division 2 Grand Final. There's the kick up the line. Taken away there by Andreasen. Kicks it to about 35 metres out from goal. Taken away by Melissa Wilhelm. Her kick almost landed on the chest there of Blair, who dropped the football. Having to go back in her and create some pressure was Cheeto. Leduc tried to do some smothering work, but the Hawks kick it in towards the central corridor. Good pressure, good tackle laid on there by Miklas. Saki tries to get back there for the Hawks. Went through her hands. Hurry kick around the corner, doesn't go too far. Blair now again on the left boot. Marshall half-heartedly went at it, pulled up because she saw the player coming at the side from Rebecca Quinn. Hawks send it back from whence it came. Blair got it back when she had it literally less than 15 seconds ago. Tries to kick it inside the forward 50. Melissa Wilhelm, hurried left boot kick. Getting bumped off the football there. Rose Stokely, in towards the central corridor. An improvised kick, if you don't mind, there from Cassie Cox in towards the two centre circles. Montreal been holding up well there, but again, they've been struggling to get a score on goal. Besnar, Marshall one-handed, got it back again, got on the left boot, kicked it out of defence. The ball bouncing away out towards the wing position, far side of the ground. They're told, hurry up, get on with it, and get on your bike and kick it long. And that's what she does as the hooter sounds to signal the end of the Women's Division 2 second semi-final at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. And it is the Philadelphia Hawks 1-4-10 defeating the Montreal Angels, just the one behind. Schnitz, we've got a bit of a local rivalry, DC and Philly for the D2 flag.
Yeah, a lot of the players are going to be familiar with one another and used to seeing each other out there in the East Coast as they go up and down the coast for some of those games. So it should be a really evenly matched game. It should be a good matchup.
Absolutely looking forward to that. Who were some of the players that impressed you out of this game today?
Yeah, no surprises again with Philly. Really putting in the work back there. It's pretty amazing that the ball was in Montreal's forward 50 the whole time, and they only came away with 1 point. And that's definitely thanks to the hard work of players again, like Danny Marshall staying back there. Obviously, Erica Saki was great to see her back out. Lindsay Terse, Barb Dempsey. Melissa Wilhelm really just kind of keeping at the contest, going at the contest hard. And then on the Montreal side again, Yui Kawakatsu just hammering it in there nonstop. Obviously, Rakowski in the ruck, able to get some of those pickups and get those hands up and make some things happen. Also, just great to see Geldmeyer from Chicago as well. Have a few good options there. Sorry, I took her number up.
You almost needed a drum roll for that.
And Ledoux kind of bringing some composure and some of that veteran attitude to the team. So a really great effort from Montreal and Chicago. They should be really proud of how they played. Mixed team, a lot of new players. So I think that some good seeds in Chicago to really grow a good footy team.
Well, I'm about to step out of the commentary box and going to be replaced in a moment's time. You'll be teamed up with the American BT and the guy wearing a floppy hat that kind of looks like Bill Murray in Caddyshack. That is one Brian Barish. He'll be calling alongside you, and what's going to be, and I'll be probably sticking around in the distance, at least in the beer tent, and watching what's going to be a great game between Seattle and New York. For the record, I'm going to tip Seattle, but I wouldn't be surprised if this dark horse New York that everyone's been talking about keeps racking up the wins.
Yeah, I think I'm on the other side of this one. I think I'm pulling New York on this one, not just because they're my former team, but I think their depth, the players that they have on the bench are all stars too. So the fact that they can rotate through, give players a break in this heat, I think that's going to give them the edge over Seattle.
Looking forward to the contest. But the one thing I do have to ask the question, they're gone with their alternative jumpers today, Seattle wearing the white jumpers. It's like black and white. Wear your green jumper!
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that decision. Maybe they just didn't want to do laundry last night.
yeah, that could be another way. Snitz, thank you very much, and everyone will look forward to your company in a few minutes' time for the Women's Division 1 first semi-final.
Awesome, thanks so much.
I'm Peter Holden. I'll catch you again in an hour's time for the Women's Division 2 semi-final between San Fran and Minnesota. Don't go anywhere. You're on Go Live Sportscast.